How to get your offer accepted. Whoo! That's the biggest challenge you're going to have as a younger agent. This is a competitive market. Even experienced agents are having a hard time getting their offers accepted. And experienced agents are having a hard time, and they've worked with this other cross-sell agent numerous occasions before. So what do? How do you actually make your offer stand out, especially when you're brand new in real estate? There's a couple things we can do to set you up for success. One, it always goes back to a strong buyer's consultation. You know, as a younger agent, you cannot let your client bully you around. The house is listed, I'm just gonna use $100,000 for this example, and they're gonna say, let's come in at 65 grand. And if you don't have a strong objection ready to handle that and why that's important to you, you're gonna be stuck writing up an offer for 65 grand. And this is an area in a market where homes are going for 102, 103% of list price, and their client wants to lowball an offer. So you either have to do a couple things. You have to let them get beat out a half a dozen times so they kind of self-assess and they go, okay, actually, I think we need to submit a full price offer. Or you do a strong buyer's consultation where you share with them the difference between list price and sales price and help them educate them from the start that when we write an offer, we have to be extremely competitive. So we're gonna do that a couple ways. We're gonna reduce our inspection timeline, right? We're gonna offer our best foot forward from day one, and we're gonna do these other things part of the contingencies. We're also gonna do these other things that are part of the contingencies. That again is all in my How to Write an Offer course. So let's just assume for now, you've got a strong offer. Your client is willing and able, they're well financed, but how do you get it accepted when there's multiple offers and there's a cross sale? Well, it has everything to do, believe it or not, with your relationship with this cross sale agent. You see, they are going to advocate for the deal that nets their seller the most amount of money, but they're also, if it's within a wiggle room of a 1 or 2% of the total purchase price, if they're a good agent, it's not just about what will net the most on an offer, what has the highest likelihood of actually closing. So no one would like to talk like this, but this is the fundamental truth. If you're representing a VA buyer, there's this stereotype that VA home loans are more strict and more stringent. Therefore, they don't appraise the same. So a lot of agents, because they're not even educated, frown on someone who's submitting a VA offer. There really isn't. The VA criteria for appraisal is much the same as it would be for any of these other down payment assistance programs, FHA, or even 5% down conventional. But uneducated agents don't know that. So if you're working with a VA client, there's a likelihood that the agent on the other side is misinformed about what that means. So that's going to be a hurdle to overcome. Second, if you're a name on the roster that isn't familiar or the other cross-sell agent doesn't know, well, they're not necessarily going to want to work with you, not because you're new, but because there's this concern that you haven't done enough deals that you're actually going to be, you're not going to play nice in the sandbox, right? There's a lot of agents who just sell a couple homes a year and that they won't answer their phone before 5 p.m. because they're working a full-time other job. Or when they do, maybe they've been in the business for 20 years, but they sell 2 homes a year for 20 years. And so they just have this old archaic way of doing things. So it isn't just your offer that has to get won over. You as the agent presenting the offer has to also get won over. So this is how I encourage the best practices to get your offer at least on the radar of the cross-sell agent. 1, don't text. It is the bane of my existence when a younger agent would text me questions about the home, right? I'm a busy agent. If you're a new agent, you got shit going on. The last thing you should be doing is texting for a quick response. Let me, who's got a dozen listings, be the one to text you back. So this is how you do it. You call them up on the phone. It's a telephone. You can use it. It doesn't just do this. It can also do this. And you introduce yourself. You say, hi, my name is Andy. I have a buyer who's very interested in your property. Then the second thing you do is you don't ask them some dumb shit question that's already been put in the marketing remarks. So read that thing front and back. If they've actually submitted attached addendums, read them all the way through. Even if they're not relevant to what your client's looking for, if you actually read the addendum, and then when you call me up to introduce yourself that you have a client that wants to submit an offer, and then you actually mention, I see in the supplemental forms you actually included the title report. Thank you for doing that. It just shows me that you're a considerate agent and you actually took the time to read everything that I spent the time to have my assistant upload. The second thing you can do is share authentically your experience. I am a newer agent, but I do have a great mentor, and I'm looking forward to working with an agent such as yourself to get this transaction done. Do you know that puffery and a little buttering of the biscuits goes a heck of a long way to making the other cross-sale agent want to work with you. Now, let's just say you're a new agent, you called and did all the things that I just said. I'm going to go meet with my seller, and I'm not going to say we should actually accept this offer because the guy was nice to me. But when the seller says to me, and they always do, they say, okay, do you know any of these agents? And what do you think the likelihood of them closing is? This is a question sellers ask frequently, right? They want to know not just, they somehow think there's only like 12 of us in the entire MLS. They don't know there's hundreds and hundreds of us. And my answer has always been, I can't actually vouch for this individual, but I can tell you from the conversation I had, they know what they're doing. And that is what you're going for. You're going for the other cross-sale agent, not to vouch for your character, but just to admit you're actually doing things the way you know they should. Secondly, agents want to get cute all the time, and I love it. As having someone who's been in this business for 14 years, I love when an agent wants to get cute. As a new agent, you should talk as little as possible about your client, about their finances. You should not share many words. You should call, say, hi, my name is Andy. I have a buyer that's very interested in your property. I noticed from the supplemental documents you actually included the title report. Thank you for doing that. I have to know what's most important to your seller. Is it netting the most amount of money? Is it the shortest time frame? Or is it the least hassle in a sale? Shut up. And because you'll see really quickly, most listing agents aren't much better at negotiation than you are right now. They're going to be the ones that overtalk and overshare. But don't put yourself in that position. Just know, as a new agent, if you're working on the other side of a skilled agent, they're going to kind of needle you for information. So you really have a fiduciary responsibility to protect your client's interests, and that means just not talking much. So that's all you want to say. And those are the three things you actually want to know, because that's going to help you with your offer, right? You want to know what's most important to your client. Is it netting the most amount of money? Is it the quickest close in a sale? Or is it the least hassle? They might say all the above, and then you're going to say, outstanding, great. But if you had to rank those in priority, which one was it? But often, most of the time, you ask that, and they'll just get to talking. They'll get to rambling, because real estate agents aren't all seasoned professionals. They're you, but 3 years from now, without the kind of training that I'm giving you. So they might say things like, yeah, they already know it's kind of priced higher. They're going to take a little bit less, but they just want a quick close. Genuinely, that's the kind of horrible things these agents say. Most real estate agents don't actually protect their clients very well because they don't know they should. So as a new agent, you can actually get a lot of good intel as long as you're not the one talking and over talking. Now you'll see professional agents that do a lot of deals they're going to be the ones kind of milking you for information. So that's why you only say what you said and then you shut up. But I would say about half the agents out there are really poorly representing their own clients, and you can get some good intel. So what do you do from this point? Okay, so they just told you what's important. You went back to your client. You said, hey, this is what I think we should do. How do you want to proceed? You write up an offer. Now what? Well, you already called them once, so call them a second time. Ring, ring. Hi, Andy. This is Andy. I just want to let you know that I'm going to be submitting an offer for your property. You should expect it in the email. It's going to include the lender's letter and all the financing. We put an expiration date of it for day after tomorrow. Will that be enough time for you and your seller to review? That's it. Like, that is the most phenomenal way. If I'm the cross-sell agent, I see that this is an individual who didn't just give me until 9 p.m. Again, one of my biggest pet peeves when I was an agent is it'd be 5 p.m. at night. I'm just getting ready to go home to my family and kids, and some buyer's agent submit an offer with an expiration date of today at 9 p.m. Right? So be considerate of it that way, but then you submit that offer, you ask them what they want, figure out what's important, you ask them if 36 hours is enough time to respond, and then you just email them the offer. Don't follow up again. There's no need to, maybe ask if they've received it. In the email, you say, here's my offer for my client. Will you please confirm you received it? And then don't follow up. Urgency he who's the most urgent and the most like trying to follow up, it's kind of like going on your first date. Like, you have a first date, great. You don't want to be the first one to text like the moment after you dropped her off. Like, are you ready to go out again? Like, just give it some time. Give it the entire 36 hours. If the contract actually expires, well, then you can follow up. But I wouldn't even respond up until the offer begins to expire. They know what the timeline is. And if it actually did expire, well, that's what they let happen. You can actually revive that offer with the stroke of a pen. So just play it cool. Your client's going to say, have you heard from me yet? They're going to say, call them, reach out. And your response is, I've reached out, I've connected with them. Once our offer has expired, I will call them again. But Mr. Buyer, I have to let you know that if we call them a second time after we already submitted the offer, it puts us in a position of weakness. So as excruciating as waiting is, I encourage you, let's just wait until our offer expires. Best practices for cross-sale agents.